this friend of mine who used to be a building contractor. We met him one day at the local pancake house having breakfast, and I said, I'm going to build a cat shelter, and Jack said, well, what do you have in mind? So we drew pictures on a piece of napkin, and he went home and drew plans on a piece of paper, and then we drew blueprints, and went to the county and got them approved, and everything came out fine, so we started building. It took us about 2 years to build the shelter. We did most of the work ourselves, and opened up about 3 years ago, and here we are. I'm not one that likes to be groomed. This is Bandit.
What in your life led you to this cause in your personal life?
Well, I've always liked cats. I used to live on a farm upstate New York, and we had a chicken farm. We had lots of cats around, and I really enjoyed the cats when I was a young man. And then we didn't have any cats until I got married. We adopted. We didn't adopt. We went to a breeder, and we bought a purebred Persian. We didn't know about shelters back in those days, and we should have went to shelter and got a shelter cat. We didn't know about it, but we bought this purebred Persian. And we had him for 19 and a half years. Then we didn't have a cat for a long, long time. And then a cat found us up here one summer. And we had that cat for a long, long time. And then another cat found us down in Florida. We had that cat together. And anyway, when I was getting ready to retire, my wife couldn't retire as soon as I could. I worked longer than she had. I was a junior college professor in Florida. I taught biology and botany. Anyway, she couldn't retire for about 6 months after I did and get her full retirement, so I was sitting around, nothing to do, and I decided to volunteer at a local animal shelter. And again, I found that I enjoyed mostly working with the cats, trying to find the cats. When people come by and they want to adopt, I'd say, well, this is a great cat, you know, I'd get to know the cat's personality and things like that. So I came up here to retire, and I went to the local shelter where I was living at the time. And I was told that you're wasting your time with cats. Nobody wants cats in North Carolina. This is dog country. If you want to help us out, help us with the dogs, and you never get a cat adopted up here. And so anyway, I decided that this wasn't true. If we had to get them out of the shelter and people could see them, because nobody comes to shelters unless they really are desperate. Usually to drop off a cat, not to adopt a cat. I think they're all sick and they're all bad and they're all, you know, bad cats. Anyway, I took some of the cats to a nearby town. I was able to adopt 3 cats the first day, and I went there and find them homes, and then the big people on the board decided this was an impulse adoption, they called it, and said it's the worst kind of adoption you can do. People are going to bring those cats back, or they're going to kick those cats out, you know, all this sort of thing. Anyway, I couldn't work with them anymore, so I decided I'd do it myself. So I started with, I converted a boathouse into a little cat shelter, and I started getting cats, and I came over to a thrift shop in Brevard, and we'd find them homes over there, and I found 150 cats homes the first year I did it, and since then I found about 3,000 cats homes. We rescue cats from all sorts of sources. People call me on the phone with a problem, somebody's died and they have a cat they have to find a home for, and usually where they live there's no place that'll take the cat, or else they're already full. I have to sometimes say, well, I'm the same way, I'm full too, and I can't take the cats out of Jackson County, I can't take cats out of Buncombe County because I got too many cats here I can't take. Also, I take cats from the Jackson County Animal Shelter, which is not too far away, and these cats that I take from there are here. And then people will find a cat in their yard, and they'll call me up, there's a cat hanging around my bird bath or something, or the bird feeder, and I'll go and get the cat. And every cat that comes here goes right to the vet as soon as possible to have a leukemia test. And then if it's negative, we go ahead and give it the rabies shot, distemper, leukemia, Ecclesia virus. Have it spayed or neutered if it's not already been done, and then we put it up for adoption. Going to a shelter where the cats are all in cages is depressing because the cats don't look happy in a cage. Cats like to have some room to run around and places to go and play with other cats, interact with other cats and people and such. And if the cat stays in a cage for a long enough time, it becomes what I call cage crazy. It just sits there and stares and doesn't have any personality. Whereas the shelter that I built, I wanted to have the cats to be in a home-like environment. And the cages are only used temporarily. When a cat comes in, it's isolated in the cage till it gets to the vet. As soon as it gets to the vet and gets an okay that it's healthy, it comes back and then it tries to fit into one of the rooms in the shelter. And all the rooms, of course, are much like a home would be. They have couches and chairs and things to climb on and things to hide in and things to play with and things to run around, other cats to interact with. I can get to know the cats also myself and know their personality and know what they're like and what they aren't like. And if you came to adopt a cat, I could probably advise you on which cat to take.
What's the hardest part about this?
The hardest part is saying no. People who call you up that have a real, genuine problem with a cat that no one else is going to take it. This cat it's up to me to say yes or say no. And I feel like Pontius Pilate sometimes. I really can't find anything wrong with the cat. The cat's a good cat. It's 5 years old. It's been spayed and neutered. Everything is fine about the cat. It's been to the vet. They got vet records on it. But it's in Black Mountain, shall we say, and I'm over here, and I've already got 3 cats that look just like this cat. And it's not going to have a home in Black Mountain. And not going to have a home in Asheville or any place else nearby. And it may end up being euthanized because the woman has died who owned the cat, and the kids don't want the cat. The kids have allergies to the cat, they say or they think, and therefore this cat is going to probably end up being euthanized if I don't take it. I built this thing based on an aquarium type setup where the cats are like fish in a big fish tank, and we have the large windows that would be like the glass on the fish tank. And this is a room we call the Octopus's Garden. We sort of have a Beatles theme here. And there are probably about 16 cats in each one of these rooms. And they have a porch on the back. They go outside and get some fresh air. And of course they have all the beds to sleep in and little cubby holes to hide in and things to climb on and plenty of food and water around the clock. We have about, I think there's about 15 cats in this room right now. And they have the frames to climb up on. They've got the little cat tree over here to climb up on, and they can look out and see the other cats in the hall. They can see out the window to the outside in the pasture. And they've got their cat food here, and they've got their cat boxes. We use large storage boxes for the cat boxes rather than have them, little boxes. We have these big storage boxes we buy at Walmart. And then they have cats that hide in the little cubby holes here, and they find their, they find sort of peace and quiet when they want peace and quiet. And the cats in here range from some that are super friendly, some that are a little bit on the shy side. Yeah, this is Ballerina. She's a real sweet little cat. Yeah, come on, Ballerina. Show your face here. Look at the camera, Ballerina. Whoops. You had enough? Hmm? Had enough? Hmm? Good girl. This cat here is in jail. He's a bad boy. He likes to beat up other cats, so he has to spend a lot of time in jail. His name is Stonewall. He came because he was in somebody's yard trying to attack their cat. I went and got him, and he spends some time to walk around. He's in solitary now, but he gets to be out once in a while. Might be out for a while, walk around. Not outside the room, but just in here. Up here on the shelf here. Up here. Okay, there you go. This is Stonewall. He's a bad boy. Great cat, but he just wants to be the only cat. Wants to rule the roost. Take him on this way. We have all kinds of art on the wall that we collect. We collect cat art, and every time I go to a yard sale or a craft shop, I find something I can find room for, I buy it. I'm running out of wall space now, though. I need some more walls to hang it on. That's not buying, I guess, for a while. And then the room back here, we opened up to the cats in the hallway. This was an isolated room for a while, but we opened it up and let the cats come in here. So the cats in the front room could be in the back room by now. And we can walk back through here. And two orange cats are a pair of kittens called Hansel and Gretel, and they were found in the woods and lured out of the woods with breadcrumbs. So they were called Hansel and Gretel. The room in the back here is sort of our intake room. We bring the new cats back here usually and put them in a cage so they get to the vet. And most cages are empty now. We do have one new kitten that came in yesterday from the local animal shelter, and it came with a little litter mate, and the litter mate died last night on me, so we only have one kitten now, and this is, hasn't even got a name yet, but it's a little Siamese mix, and I think she's gonna make it, or he's gonna make it, I don't know which it is. But he's only about 6 weeks old. And all of his siblings are probably been euthanized by now because nobody wants kittens. They've all got all they can take. So he's a lucky little guy because he happened to be a Siamese. It's just a matter of birth, I guess. If he was born Tory, he probably wouldn't be here. This is one called Aya, which is a Himalayan in some respects. It's a mix, and she's been front foot declawed, done by a butcher. You can see she used to have white toes. She's only got 2 of the toes left. He cut them back too far. And declawing is not declawing, it's amputation. If anybody doesn't know what the difference is, they actually cut the toe about behind the nail here someplace with like a vice grip, just clip it off and sew it up and patch it up, and that's the end of it. But so whoever did this cat was a butcher type vet. I don't know who did it, where she came from, it's hard to say, but he didn't do a very good job on her. He took half her toes back too far, and she lost her little white toes. She had a whole white, a white pad on her foot. That would be called a snowshoe. But whoever did the declawing went back too far on some of the toes and took off the end of the toe too far back.
What's the difference between your life before this effort and now?
My life is now nothing but this. This is one problem. I used to have time to travel and paddle my kayak and take vacations and have a normal life. And now I'm pretty well tied down to taking care of these cats. I've been 24.
Do you feel tied down?
I feel I am tied down. I don't really mind as much as my wife does. My wife would rather have more time to travel and do things like we used to do, and trying to find someone to come in and help me out and take over and be a partner and give me some time off. I really feel sort of, I don't know, it's sort of a compulsion to me to keep going with it. And I just, have this drive. I don't know what it is, but probably insanity. But I just feel that I have to keep it going, and I can't let it die at this point because I've gone so far. And this is something that is so unique that there's nothing like this anywhere in this part of the state. And people who come here are amazed. They walk in the door and they open their mouth saying, "My God, this is for the cats only, and you must be crazy, And I said, why? Because cats have rights to decent living and shouldn't be in cages, and such. So I want this to be a model for future shelters.